Hello and welcome to the Fishing Guide Podcast. I'm your host, Brad Wiegmann. We are with Mark Ridl, and he's with Cornfield Fishing Gear. And I almost said it wrong, and I have to apologize, but I don't know if I should apologize because you've been in the business so long, Mark. It's kind of like a compliment.
Yeah, it's been, I think, 10 years now. I had one of those old pictures come up on Facebook here a while back, and it was from 10 years ago. I'm like, dang, I was thinking it was only like 8, but 10 years we've been messing with stuff. So,
yeah, you have a great shop.
Thank
it's
you.
Pretty crazy.
Thank you.
First, tell us, like in a nutshell, about your products, and then I think we'll just visit about your shop, and then we'll visit. Last, we'll bring up his boat, but it's not a boat; it's a vessel.
It's the corn crib.
Corn crib. I love that. Go out there tomorrow morning, someone's put corn crib on the side of it. Tell us, in a nutshell, about Cornfield Fishing Gear.
We're up to 8 employees now, Paul and myself and 6 others. We got a full-time sales guy, and 99% of what we build in the shop is Cornfield gear. That's all we do. So
wow.
We've grown quite a bit over our 10-year span here. We're shipping all over the world. We got dealers everywhere. We're doing with some direct boat manufacturers now and stuff like that. So it's been quite interesting.
When you got good stuff, then people want it.
Thank you. Yeah.
Is that your
that's
your business plan?
I tell everybody our stuff's a little bit more expensive.
Right.
But I want to build it the best I can and make it the best so it lasts forever. So we found out early that we build stuff good enough that, they didn't buy another one. So then we started expanding the product line.
There you go.
I had somebody ask me one time, so has it been slow at the shop? I said, it slows down, end of May, June. By August, it's pretty slow. Gives me time to just create some new stuff. So we put out new things. Yeah, keep adding new things all the time.
What people don't know about the fishing industry is actually you build the products and get them going late in the year because you have to have those products ready for the spring event. So you have to really build your stock up, don't you?
Pins how it goes. We're working on something we've been playing with for almost 4 years, and I still don't have what I want. We've been hard at it for 2 years now, and I have prototypes in my hands, not what I showed you on the boat, something completely different from that we're messing with, and I'm short with patience, and I got other people helping me and all this and that, and I really wanted to have it out by this year for show season. For me, it's show season, January. I got to have a new product by January because we're hitting the road hard, that first 2-3 months, and I didn't have it, so.
I got scolded because I took my phone out and started filming. I'm like, hey, this is gonna be on my YouTube channel, and he's like, whoa, wait a second there, partner.
I've made mistakes doing that before, putting stuff out that we're playing with, and I don't have it refined yet, or I'm having problems. I might find a problem in what I showed you earlier today that I don't know about yet. This is the only one and the only one on a boat, and it's only been on a lake once. And I want to that's why I really busted to get on here for this weekend because I'm gonna fish it every day, and it handled the ride from Kentucky to Como, Mississippi on the boat, no problems and all that. So everything's got to be tested very well before I turn it loose. I've had stuff that I put pictures out and people's calling wanting it, and then these people are calling, where are you out? When are you gonna have it? When are you gonna have it? When are you gonna have it? Well, I don't know.
Right.
It's a process.
We're excited because we get to go in the corn crib and get out there in the water. You promised me, so
we'll go.
We'll get out there. So tell us about your shop. Your shop is interesting. I was just there like a couple months ago.
So we have 9 CNC machines, Haas machines. They're made out of California.
Yeah.
I've been running those for a lot of years. They're maybe not considered the best machine on the market, but for the money and for what I'm doing, they are by far the best machine on the market for me. We got 3 lathes, 6 mills, and I bought an NC saw so we can punch in how long a bar needs to be cut, and it just keeps cutting them. So because we couldn't keep up with the dang saw with the other machines. And then we've added 4th axis stuff so we can rotate. Like my knobs, we're drilling holes, and we'll put a knob in, and we'll drill a hole, and then we'll turn it 90 degrees and drill a hole again. And we got all kinds of stuff. Now, as I'm designing things, I always design stuff to fit the machinery that we have so that we can efficiently build it. Because if I can build it efficiently, we can still make the money we need to make on it, but we can keep the price down on it.
Right.
A lot of engineers I've worked with over the years engineer these cool looking stuff, and they're really hard to make, which makes them really expensive.
Right.
So I'm trying to figure out how to machine it efficiently on the equipment we got. So fourth axis has helped a bunch.
You guys are actually even making the knobs.
Yeah.
Which
I couldn't get them in COVID.
Right.
We had our folding mount back in COVID, and it's got that spring pin on it that locks it down. We had something like, Paula had something like 40 of them on the floor in a box, ready to go, waiting on the daggone knob. And his company's like, well, we're like 2 months out and all this and that. So I'm like, no, I just sat down at the computer. And I had something spring-loaded pin years ago on those paddles I used to do, the drift paddle things.
Right.
So I dug those prints up, kind of revamped that, changed a few things, and we machined our own knob on the end and put it all together, and we just make it. Well, then we're turning knobs, so we only had one lathe, and we were turning so many knobs, I ended up buying another lathe, and then ended up buying another lathe.
There you go. There you have it.
We make all our own bushings. We make everything. I mean, there's some things like the motor for the live sweep. Obviously, we got to buy that overseas. There's no place else to get it. I got a company in the actually from home up in Hoopeston, Illinois, that makes my wiring harnesses. I have them because we don't do wires, so I have them made, from a friend. I try to do with some friends. I got a couple other buddies that's got machine shops up around Champaign, Illinois, and I'll farm them work every now and then because I know what their quality is and it matches what I want. So I only use people that I know and people that's, good.
So we are on your boat today, and on the very front you had a dual mount system. Yep. For your Garmin, and talk a little bit about that.
Well, we named that one the tree mount because it's this big, tree coming up with two arms coming off of it.
Right.
And what we've done is, and I like to put a lot of adjustability and everything because everybody's setup's different. There's not a cookie cutter way to do anything. So everybody's boat is a little bit different, or this guy fishes it like this or that. So I try to design in as much adjustability and movement as possible. So this one, each arm has one unit on it. So I have one unit on the top, one unit on the bottom, and they will spin 360 degrees around the tree trunk.
Right.
And the tree trunk has notches in it, so it's got my spring pin. Again, same pin we use everywhere. That's how I design things too. So we pull that pin out, and you can slide it up, and that tree trunk has notches machined in it so that pin snaps in it. So I can put that every 2 inches, I think it is, you can raise and lower a unit.
Right.
And it still swivels 180 degrees no matter where you put it at. And then the lower unit, you can raise it up as long as it stays below the top unit, and you can rotate it around. So I can rotate the two units individually. You know who really likes that? Guides.
Right.
Because they can turn one for their customer and one for them, and and then the whole sun glare issue, you can adjust them individually and then raise the one. I usually leave my mapping one low and I bring the other one up, and and then I can tighten them all up on the tree trunk and then loosen the knob on the bottom and turn both of them together or take the whole thing off. So. And
you also talked about being able to step into your boat. You said that was
every crappie guy knows there's way too much stuff going on the front of the boat. And steps, I put steps on my old Ranger boat years ago. Sorry, I'm to the age where I need the steps. It's just safe. And so I can rotate these two units around. One, I can get my trolling motor in and out easy. That's another thing. You're having problems with these big units.
Right.
Having trouble clearing the trolling motor to get it in and out. So I can roll these units around and clear the trolling motor, and I also move them in a fashion that leaves me just a little bit of an area between the trolling motor and the units. I can get up the steps and get on the boat when I'm.
So I guess if you can't fit through there, that means diet time.
Yeah, well, you just got to be real careful.
There's no diet this way.
Well, with my fancy spider rigging racks, those are kind of a handle too. I can hang on to those as I'm walking through there. So.
Are those being made?
Not yet. I will. I mean, they're really easy for the make. It's stuff that we're already doing, but they're just going to be really expensive. I haven't even really priced them yet. They're going to be really expensive because there's so much machine work in it. But I got one guy says he wanted them, so we'll see.
All right. Let's stay in the front of the boat and tell us what else do you have in the front of the boat?
We put I got my live sweep on a Kraken trolling motor. You know, the Kraken's like the Tarova. It's got to slide back and forth, and I have it mounted on there. So when you put the trolling motor in the water, the live sweep goes with it. And then on the live sweep, I got our new switchback so that I can put my transducer in forward mode or pull it out and switch it to perspective mode within seconds.
Okay.
And then I didn't show you, I'm working on a bounce eliminator to go on that, which is also a handle. So you can grab that handle and help slide that motor in and out. And then it keeps it from bouncing. It's a prototype on there too.
All right, now let's go to the helm of the boat. You got two big juicy units there.
I got a center console Skeeter boat. I looked at all these boats, and I ended up going with that. And of course, I fished out of Les's. I liked the way it fished and this and that, and I decided to pick this boat. And most of those center console boats, you put the unit sunken into the console.
Right.
And it's slick. It's nice. They're out of the way and all this and that. But I wanted 2 units in there. Crappie guy, you gotta have all that.
You got 2 up front.
So I if you were really, really careful, I measured it all out. You could have got 1 16-inch unit in there, but there's not enough room for anything else. And I didn't want to go to 2 10s or something like that. So I put our track mount, we call that, on there. We've been doing that for the bass boats because you can adjust it side to side individually. You can rotate the units forward or back. You can rotate them, turn them, so you can curve them into. A lot of guys the bass guys especially kind of like them curved so that they can see them easier. Right. And I end up putting that on the console of that center console boat, put it as low as I could get it, and I put my 2 units on there, and they're not built in, but they're laid way back towards the fiberglass part of the console, and then I slid them out far enough. They're actually wider than the console, but they're inside the T-top tubes where I'm sitting to operate the boat. I can see both of them very clear.
And they're low, so they're not obstructing your view.
And then I was showing you on that, we got another version of that we put on some bass boats where it's got a saddle that slides back and forth in the track, and then it's got an arm that comes off of that, and then that arm can rotate down, and then you got another knuckle that you can rotate your unit and get it back straight so we can lower them. We put them on a couple boats, and 16-inch units aren't no more than 2 to 3 inches taller than the windshield, so a guy can see through them and see over them.
Yeah, it's like when you were a kid, you probably would have played with Transformers. If they would have had them,
we had Legos.
Think they had.
We built everything under the sun out of Legos.
I was thinking like little Transformer things.
I'm still the boomer, so we didn't have all that kind of stuff yet.
That's what I was thinking on that. Let's go to the very back of your boat. Once again, you've come up with another holder for your graph.
I like pulling a lot. I like pulling crankbaits, long lining, starting to get into the catfishing stuff a little bit. You can pull with that. Next week, I'm going to Lake of the Woods. We're going to do a little walleye, so we're going to pull for walleye. I like pulling. So I took the seat pedestal out because I'm not really going to, it was too far to the back to turn around and look backwards. So I took it out, and I just put something we've been doing for quite a long time, our telescoping mount. It's our telescope. I put it in, and I put it on our CA base so that I brought the wires out the hole where the pedestal was. Right. So they come out right underneath the tube of the mount and go up to the unit, and then it swivels, and I can rock it up. And I've been playing with that one. That's a 17, an 86-17. It seems to have more glare issues than the 1643s. I don't know if they've done something different on the screen or what, but I've been fighting the sun glare on that one. So being able to roll it, turn it side to side and roll the unit up and down has been handy on that. So
is that detachable or not?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can take the whole thing off.
How about just take the unit off of that one?
Yeah, you can just we make the knobs to get rid of your plastic knobs on your gimbal mount, so you can. And then this is the 17 inches, the framework that we build. We started building. I had a guy come in the shop years ago when they first come out with the 17s, the 86-17. He wanted on the front of his crappie boat. Okay. I don't know if you know him or not, Ronnie Cap. So when he come in, I kind of do what he wanted. So I've turned that into a heck of a product where we do it for everything, all the big units. So we build a frame to put it in because those units don't have gimbal holes, and then I got make my own gimbal mount and everything for it. So
all right, and then you have holders back there too. In fact, kind of the ones that Les has sitting right over there in his boat. Yeah. Tell us about those.
I built me some, since that's a center console boat, it's got the tubes, I don't know what they call them, they're like rod holders that sink down into the gunnel rail, and I made a tube that goes in there, and then it quarter turns and locks in and comes up, and then we build a top out of it. It's all a little bit heavy, but it fixes it all up so I can put 4 rods off of each side in the back and work around the power pole stuff in the back.
And that's where you've also been doing your catfishing too.
Yeah.
Right? You've been dragging.
Yeah, we've been dragging for catfishing. Yep. We live scoped them last week. That was kind of fun.
Hey, catching fish is fun.
Hey, it's a blast.
That takes us to Tackle Time. Tackle Time sponsored by PICO Lures. PICO Lures has a complete line of hard and soft baits. So if you want to catch catfish, you can do it with the crankbaits because this time of year and through the summer, pink is a hot comer. Pink Glimmer is one of the better ones.
Pink and black on Kentucky Lake.
Pink
Holy
and black.
cow.
You got Beach Ball will catch them. Those colors there, I know we saw one of your colors today was bone orange at the PICO that you had a couple of them in there. He said, I don't know what color this is. I said, I know what color that is. But you can check them out online at picolures.com. The Fishing Guide Podcast is also sponsored by B&M Poles. Of course, they have a complete line of rods for crappie fishing. They have so many crappie fishing rods, it's insane. You have to check those out. But they also have rods for catfishing. They got rods for trout fishing, saltwater, you name it. They got a rod that you can go fishing with and catch fish with. So make sure you check their rods out and all their products at bnmpoles.com. Mark, if they want to find out more about Cornfield, it's Cornfield, I have to say it again, Cornfield Fishing Gear.
Yep. Cornfield Fishing Gear. You can see us at cornfieldfishinggear.com.
Okay.
Or call 217-304-1680. You'll talk to our sales guy, Will, and we can get you fixed up with about anything you need.
All right. Sounds good. Appreciate it. Like I always like to end the show, make sure you keep your hook sharp and your lures in the water.